Yeah, and we are back for another live podcast.
Uh,
This your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan Channel. We are here. I got Coach D-Way. I got J-Dub in the house. Fellas, what's happening with you?
All good, all good.
All right. J-Dub, how you feeling, brother?
Brother, just another beautiful day. We got up to 68 degrees up here in the great big sky country. So,
Oh, wow.
Man.
So,
nice weather, good sports on TV, some bad news, but that's another
yeah.
day above the dirt, big dog.
Let's go ahead and get that on out the way, man. Y'all, speaking of bad news, we're talking about none other than our girl, Juju Watson, has suffered an ACL tear. And so she's out for the rest of the season, possibly going into next season. We know how long these things take. But good news, she's just a sophomore. She will bounce back. And y'all, nobody wanted to see this. Coach D-Way said in a blink of an eye, in a snap of a finger, anything could happen. So that's what happened. And prayers up to Juju Watson. But good luck to the rest of the USC squad and attorney, and hopefully they can keep on winning without her. You guys got anything to add to that?
So even without, I got a lot to add, but even
Yeah.
without Juju, the USC squad is a top 10 squad. I mean,
True that.
Kiki is going to keep them
Mm-hmm.
in the game. I'm not going to say they can beat the South Carolinas. I'm not going to say they can beat, UConn in 2 games. It should be 2 games from now. Man, it hurts, and there is no way to say it. As an elite athlete in your sport, when you go down, we're all on your side. And somebody can say it more eloquently than I'm fixing to say it, but there was something that said years ago that the less violent the ACL injury looks, the worse it is.
Mm.
And it didn't look like a bad injury. She was running
Right.
up the court with a little contact, and the fact that she went down screaming in agony means it is a bad tear.
Right.
The only thing this changes for her career arc is that she will probably not reach Caitlin's scoring record.
Right.
But since her game isn't predicated on dunking the ball and, how high she can jump, I don't think this even affects her stock in the
Right.
next league, in the next level.
Right.
It affects us watching the sport and appreciating the sport. I mean, because she is women's college basketball, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I think she bounces back. I'm sure if she contact the NCAA, they would give her another year eligibility without question. They want her to stay in college. So she's, even if she misses all of her junior season, which is a possibility with an ACL injury, she has her senior season and she has another year eligibility. So the only thing, again, this changes is the fact that she won't reach as many career points as Caitlin probably. Next.
J-Dub,
So-
Coach D-Way, go ahead. Go, Coach
Yeah,
D-Way.
so and you guys tell me if I'm wrong here. I think she was going to reach Caitlin's scoring record mainly because she doesn't rely on the 3-point shot. That was
Right.
the first thing I thought, okay? And she didn't necessarily – she's not a ball hog, say it that way. She's a girl that creates and makes things happen for her team and for her. So if she was a girl that took 40, 50 shots a game, yes, that would be an issue. But she didn't take enough shots, in my opinion, to scare that record any.
So time out, Coach. I don't want to interrupt you. Just so you know, as of yesterday's game, she's 42 points ahead of Caitlin.
Okay.
At this point in their careers. Okay.
So Caitlin excelled later in college. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
And
okay.
then let's talk about the good news. Okay. The reason we're having this conversation is because we're talking about a lady that could rewrite women's professional basketball. She could be, I can say it this way, the Michael Jordan of WNBA when her career's over. That's why we're having this conversation. But the exciting thing is she's young. She's in phenomenal condition. This type of surgery is a walk in the park nowadays compared to what it was 20 years ago. And she's the kind of gal, kind of athlete that is going to go above and beyond in the physical therapy, rehabilitation standpoint. She'll come back stronger than she was before with her knee. So I'm still, I'm not even anxious. She's gonna do some big things, and I like what J-Dubs says on his deal, his caption. So it's gonna be good. She's gonna be. We all wanted to see her play. We all wanted to see a Paige Juju matchup. All that stuff, but
because they guard each other. Oh my
yeah,
God, they guard each other.
Yeah. But she's real special. She's real special.
Mm-hmm.
E, how about you?
I mean, I'm a fan of Juju, and everybody knows that. I'm a fan of Juju, and Juju is a more complete player that I've seen in women's basketball since Maya Moore. You know, somebody who can play both sides of the field. You know, and when you have a person like that, when you look at her being a freshman and all the energy that surrounded her, living up to expectation, being the number one crew coming out of high school, going into USC, hanging out with the James family and stuff like that, and then of course living up to expectation. And this year we saw nothing but greatness from her. Chasing a record is fine. That's for the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the colleges and stuff like that. But Juju is not that type of person. Obviously, players do want to eclipse and do things to stamp their name, but Juju is a hooper, straight up. And, you know, when you go down an injury like that, the least thing on her mind is a Caitlin Clark record, because she knows when she step on the hardwood, what she brings to the table. Her mind right now is getting back together, getting her body back. And then when she get back out there, it's going to be NCAA women's basketball beware. She's back. You know what I'm saying? The bun is back when she get back out there.
JC,
and I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm not saying she wants to chase that record. My point was that's the only thing that changes. I think she's still the truth. I think she's still going to rewrite history in the next level. I think she is still that girl. She's her. And the only thing that changes is some minuscule record book thing that she doesn't care about, right? I guess that was my point. I just want to make sure. I know she doesn't care about that. She wants to win championships. She wants rings. She wants the next level.
Right.
Yeah.
What
up, Lou? Lou. Hey, Jay, let me ask this question because we talked about it. We haven't seen this in a long time to where you got a Juju Watson who was a freshman and the WNBA already had eyes on her. They didn't watch Caitlin Clark until her junior year. They didn't watch Angel Reese till her junior year. We watched Maya Moore right after her sophomore year, you know. But this is the first time that we had eyes on the freshman to where they're ready to pick her up right away because they're dubbing her as the next wave of the WNBA superstars. Now she's getting injured. Does this give the WNBA any type of kick in the butt to start looking at their framework to see can they start getting these girls sooner rather than later?
Man, I don't know. There's so much that goes into that. I know y'all talked about that a little bit last week with Paige. I don't think so. I don't think so. The W's just coming into their own. I know they got this whole new CBA negotiations they're dealing with. I don't think this changes anything. I think again, I think she's still gonna be that next wave. She is still that next person.
Agree.
When the difference between men's and women's, especially at the professional level, is how we are at the rim, right?
Right.
So when Derrick Rose went down with his injury, it changed how his ability was at the rim. When Anthony Hardaway went down with his knee injury, when Grant Hill went down with his knee injury,
right?
These young ladies aren't predicated on jumping. On getting to the rim, on their jumping ability. They're predicated on their ball handling ability and their court vision, and that's not going to change for her.
Right.
So I don't see that this changes the W yet. maybe in another 10 years when the W is actually making money instead of leaking money, this might change the next superstar that's coming through that we've had a conversation of, who maybe is not that good in school, maybe can't get she has some issues at home and she needs to get more money. But I don't think this particular moment changes how the W looks at the next recruits.
That's fair enough. That's about right. I mean, that's a good observation on that. All right, we saw what happened with the round of 64. It was complete beatdowns all the way around, and wasn't too many things surprised me about the women's round of 64. But 32 had some interesting games, primarily with who was that that I was looking at? South Carolina. They worried me.
Yeah, South Carolina's not as strong as everybody wants you to think they are.
You know, they won the game, obviously, but it was a slow burn on Sunday. It was a 64-53 game. It was a slow burn. The game, and they put up 108 points, on Friday against Tennessee Tech. I mean, it was 108-48. That was a beatdown. I watched that game. Everybody got in. Everybody who played got in. They were breaking all type of records. 63 points, which is a record. 64 points from the bench, which is a record. I mean, they just did what they could do, but then I feel like they left all that on energy on the court, or maybe they didn't play up to their level of talent, because on Sunday it was, Sunday it was like a big struggle. Just with a lot of energy. 64-53. But the same thing that USC did in their matchup on Saturday. It was a slow burn in the first half. It was 12-8 in the 12-8 in the first quarter. It was 28-11 in the first half.
And UNC Greensboro only scored 25 points.
Yeah. So you're talking about USC had 28 points in the first half, but UNC.
We're going to keep going. I know where he's going.
Yeah.
The parity in women's college basketball has only gotten to about the top 20.
Yeah.
The top. Yeah. I'm sorry, Eric. If you want to keep going, bro. I'm sorry. I was trying to help out.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So there's only about 20 teams that have a legitimate argument for national championship.
Right.
And we have 64 teams, now 68 teams with the first 4 that get to play in the tournament. And I'm all for it. But the wave of talent is still catching up, right? The NIL has changed the men's game, and the NIL will eventually change the women's game, but we're still a generation maybe away. We're at least a decade away, but we're maybe a generation away before 200 young ladies want to be professional basketball players.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to take.
And that's one thing I love about the way, even though you're going to have some blowouts and some like teams only scoring 25 points in a game, it's the way you approach the game. When I watched that game, obviously Greenboro, they just couldn't do their thing at all. But that first half, they was playing what defense they could play against a team that really didn't get any sleep tonight. They just really didn't care. They went out and party because they knew this was going to be a walk in the park, right? So they gave them opportunity, and the energy there on the court, they really was trying. They were just missing a lot of shots. I mean, they was taking, because women's athleticism is different than men. Women athletic is all about timing and rhythm, not necessarily athleticism. They just turn, jump, hit, and boom, and IQ, right? And so rushing shots, I think the intimidation was there because they are playing against USC, overthinking it, and I think all that played into it. But they got the experience, and you see this throughout history when it comes down to women's sports. There are some elite teams that are always going to be at the top, but those bottom 20 those top 20, but those bottom 20, the bottom 40 teams, they kind of rotate in and out because they're in and out. Teams are getting shots and chances. So when you look at and Monday, oh my God, did anybody see that game between Alabama and Maryland? Two teams that we normally wouldn't be talking about playing in this tourney. You know what I'm saying? Alabama women, and oh my God, the best team, men's and women's of the tourney. J-Dub, Coach D-Wade, did you get a chance to see the game?
I did.
Man, I'm gonna let you
go.
Jay, I mean, again, best game I've seen. Just two really good schools that are just playing hoop, man. You know, just throwing haymakers. I don't know what else to say. You know, it was good stuff, Jay.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was big plays, especially at the end of the game. Man, I'm trying to think of that young lady's name who scored 45 points for Maryland in a loss. But again, I want you to think about for a second. So USC's next game is against a 5 seed, okay? And USC just lost the best player in college basketball,
okay,
in women's college basketball, and they are still a 1.5 point favorite. So that's what I'm saying. They're still catching up, and they're gonna catch up. They're right there. They're on the cusp. So when we see Alabama, Maryland, which is crazy because the last highest game I just watched earlier was Alabama somebody else. Alabama's the 2 highest scoring games of all time in women's basketball.
Yeah.
But they're getting there. They're getting there. They're getting more young ladies are wanting to play basketball than are wanting to play volleyball. More young ladies are wanting to play basketball than are wanting to do track or swimming or other things. So the athletes that can do any sport they choose are now choosing to do basketball because of the exposure they're getting.
And to put your point, Sarah Lee Barker for Alabama scored 45 points in this game.
There it is.
She was not a top recruit for the WNBA. But after the grit performance that she had in this game, yeah, they're looking at her. They're definitely looking at her because now there were some times where it was just some defensive lapses where she just beat one person to the basket, which, I mean, nobody was in the inside. I mean, you get that. But the heart in double overtime to keep driving, to put the ball down the teeth of the defense, that type of energy is going to carry you to the next level, to the professional level. So, I mean, great job, Sarah Lee Barker. I mean, she left it all on the court. But I like what I see out of Sarah TBIASI.
Oh, is that the girl who hit the game tire to go into overtime?
Yeah. The little part, yeah. I love her. The way she come off of screens is so amazing because she can step back and shoot it, and so she pulls you in. She pulls the defense up with that fake step back, and then once you close it up on her, she takes you to that floater, and she's money on that. But then if you step into the paint, she stepped back and bust some threes. That's what she did to send the game into overtime. So I mean, she's a baller. And then Cheyenne Sellers was the other girl who was out there grabbing buckets for them as well.
And I just told Coach D-Way, I think 2 days ago or yesterday, I love it when the men's and women's teams from the same school are going far. So Maryland, I'm all in for Maryland.
Yeah. Maryland are both in it, yeah. So looking at the Sweet 16 right now, let's go ahead and just break this down for the women's UCLA and Ole Miss. Who you got, Coach D-Way?
Let me pull it up here.
I'll jump. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jay.
Brother, I got UCLA all the way to the championship, if not being the champion. Lauren Betts is the real deal. She should be the first pick in the draft if she wants to leave because the rules of the draft are different. She's a junior, but at her age, she's eligible to leave. I think UCLA is a national championship because of her. So that's all I need to say about the whole tournament.
That's a big girl. That is a big girl.
She uses her size. She's the first big girl since Brittany that does her work early. She's posted up in the first 4 to 5 seconds of the shot clock. If it doesn't work out her way, she moves around. I've seen more UCLA games this year than I have any other team, and it's because of her, because I'm interested in what she can do.
Ladies out there that are big and you're trying to play the post position, we know get in front of your opponent and posting up. We know that. But the ability to seal your opponent from behind when they try to front you, that is what she bring back to the game.
Early.
Early.
Yeah.
They double teamed her, but she was able to get the ball over the top and still score, which means putting her up under the basket. This ain't like men. That's a men's thing where you front your guy, push him off, and throw a lob. These women ain't dunking like that. They're not catching lobs. So once you get that ball, the defense collapse, but she used her arm length to create enough distance to score up under the basket when she's deep up under the basket. I mean, that skill that's taking time out to learn that move. And so women out there who are watching Lauren Betts understand, man, that's not something that's easy, you know, especially when you're not jumping 42 feet in there, 42 inches in the air. So that's, so that's pretty cool.
And
So
timing,
Exactly.
having the clock in your head, running
Exactly.
down. I only got 6 seconds to do this, and then we need to get into the offensive flow. And man, I'm a big fan of her.
And she don't put the ball on the ground a lot either.
Never.
Once she catches the ball, she's ready to make a move. So I mean, yeah,
that's right.
She's a beast. She's gonna be giving those Phoenicia Colliers and those big girls in the league a run for their money when it comes down to the paint.
And you guys named 5 or 6 skills in her skill set that to all the young ladies out there that are wanting to do this at the highest level, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to spend hours and hours in the gym and drills and working fundamentals and having a skill coach and just being dedicated to your craft to get. She didn't just because she's a big gal. That's just part of it. She's a skilled lady at her craft. So.
All right, so I think we're all agreeing that UCL will win that game. That's a 1 versus a 5. Ole Miss SC team, you're going home more than likely. One thing about the women's bracket is we got all number 1s, all number 2s, all number 3s in the Sweet 16. 3 number 5s and 1 number 4. That is, like J-Dub said, this would come down to the elite. You know what I'm saying? So follow up, UCL, we got LSU versus NC State. Number 3 versus number 2. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a game that everybody is going to be watching right here.
Okay, so I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
I started talking to you guys and mentioning, how long has it been? A month ago, month and a probably a month ago, about this NC State team.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all remember me bringing this team up?
Yep, you did.
This team, guys, I'm telling you, they got some dogs on this team that can freaking ball, and they're taking 0 prisoners. And I'm telling you, that's my dark horse. That's for the entire tournament. They're my dark horse. And I think they handle LSU easily.
Easily?
Not like a blowout easily, but
yeah. They're gonna leave it on the floor. They're gonna leave it on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna blow them out of the gym, but the game won't be in question in the last 30 seconds. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
What you got, J-Dub?
Bro, I'm gonna disagree softly. I'm gonna softly disagree, bro. Brother Johnson, LSU, they come from a winning squad.
Yo, Jay,
the bottom of the boot. You know, this is a team that's had to run the gauntlet all year long in the SEC, which is a tough women's division. Man, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's a last possession ball game. I think it's whoever in the last, I think it's a 3-point game with 5 minutes to go, and we're going to see who has the heart to move on to the next round.
And you got to remember, Coach Kim's been there, done that. So
Kim has been there for multiple schools, multiple times. You like her or not, she is still the head coach everybody wants.
Absolutely. You're not gonna get.
So I think of this next round, that should be the best game, the most competitive game, the most.
I agree. I mean, Azariah James for NC State. I mean, I'm real big on point guard play because you look at the forwards from Flo J. Johnson from LSU, but that's their leading scorer. So you're looking at a leading scorer being a forward versus a leading scorer being a guard. That says a lot about how this matchup is going to go because obviously these two guys can guard each other, and so it's going to really, really hinge on the defense of NC State to really pull this out because Flo J is a beast. I mean, just straight up what it is. Ezra, she averaged 18 points in the game. She dropped 26 the other night. So they're going to need everything they got from her to come out of this game. So unlike D-Way, I mean, I know that's his dark horse, but I'm picking LSU in this game right here.
Okay.
And dark horse is a loose term for a team that won the ACC. I hear you. I know what I just said a little while ago. There's only 20 teams, but dark horse is a loose term at best.
Jason's going to give me how you picking a dark horse that's second.
I won 30 games.
A number 2 seed. A number 2 seed is a dark horse, really?
Right.
All right, moving on to OU and UConn. Oh my God, they got them 17-point spread. UConn over OU. Wow, is that fair?
It's fair. It's fair. And Paige is hitting her stride at the right time. Sarah Strong is looking like a beast on the block, which is why Paige may come back for her 6th season. I mean, I think this game isn't even in contention 10 minutes into the game. By the second quarter, this game is out of hand, I think.
As much as I, love Oklahoma, and that's where my wife is from, but man, this is where it ends for them. This is where this is for them right now.
This ain't a knock on Oklahoma as a state or even as a college.
I didn't even realize it was number 3 until yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute, they still in this thing? I didn't know Oklahoma still had a team represented, but y'all represented well for the state. The guys didn't make it to the tourney, so the girls y'all represented. You made it to the Sweet 16. Thank God that at least Oklahoma got some representation in this March Madness, and so kudos to the Oklahoma Sooner girls basketball team. But this is where you all guys go home and get ready for the softball season. For that tough softball
Which they're still number 1. They're still number 1, even though they just lost.
Absolutely. All right, then we have South Carolina and Maryland. We just saw that big tough win from Maryland and Alabama. With all that energy, now they got to go against this South Carolina squad. Double overtime. They left it all on the court. Oh, my God. This is not fair.
And a lot changes at the Sweet 16 level for the women's tournament because now we go to a neutral site. Right?
Exactly. Versus playing home.
So Maryland won a slugfest at home. They were at home for that slugfest. So you go to a neutral
site. And a game
that
was behind 17 points.
Yeah. And so now you go to a neutral site against, Dawn Staley and her crew. And I know they got that freshman superstar. And I don't think this is close either. I think this is a 15-point game at halftime.
They're talking about they're favored about 17 and a half. That's
17 and a half. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So a lot changes at this level, at the Sweet 16 level for the women's tournament.
That South Carolina would make them so good is Coach Dawn Staley. She got 2 players on the bench that score that are leading their team in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
That's Floje Wiley, whatever that means. But and then I forget the other girl. But this team is hard to beat because of that reason. Because
they're deep. They're so deep.
They're so deep. I mean, that they deep. Like I said, they scored 64 points off the bench in a 108-point game. They bench scored more than they started. So that's how deep they are. And so I know we talked about them having a slow game in in the other team they played, but that's more them probably playing to their talent, just really not taking the game off and just winning the game easy without putting a lot of energy into it and get all these days of rest. But against this Maryland team, Maryland, I'm so sorry for you. I mean, it was good. You gave us a game, the best game of the tournament. I appreciate you, but if you gave, now granted, 108 points. 4 points they scored the other day. You did that in overtime. We saw that South Carolina can do that in regulation. So,
they just right. It took you 2 extra periods to score what they scored at a regulation game.
Right.
That's right.
So it is what it is. So good job, Maryland, for making it to the Sweet 16. All right, then. Oh my God. 2 ACC teams, UNC and Duke.
The Battle of Tobacco Row.
The Battle of Tobacco Row. Yeah,
I know nothing about either one of these squads.
I watched a few of the UNC games early because at one point in time I thought there was going to be a number 1 seed. They was doing good in this tournament, and then it just kind of they made a number 2 seeds. So that wasn't too bad, but didn't watch a whole lot of Duke. But I'm going to take US. I'm going to take UNC on this game just because I don't know anything about Duke, and then I've always been a fan of USC because I'm a Jordan fan, so I cannot, with good conscience, vote against any team that Jordan never played on.
You sound like J-Dub talking.
I'm gonna take UNC too, and I know nothing, but I'm gonna always be Carolina blue versus that dark blue. But again, they're playing to play South Carolina.
Yeah. So you're right.
And you never know what's going to happen. It's a tournament. It's called March Madness for a reason. But y'all are playing to get to a game that is going to be tough, is what we're going to say.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going with Duke. I've seen just a little glimpse of them here and there. They look real fundamental. They execute. They play well together. They play small ball. I'm taking Duke. So.
Say less.
I will say that Duke's star is better than North Carolina's star. I was watching something earlier. She's had several 25-point games, 30-point games. Toby, I can't try to even pronounce her last name. Fournette. It sounds French, but so if we're gonna lean on our stars when it matters most, Duke has the best star in the game.
Yeah.
But North Carolina, I'm always gonna believe baby blue.
Yeah, they got Duke win this game by 5. They got a 5-point spread. So 5. So, but I'm still going UNC. North Carolina.
I am too.
Yeah, so that's what that is. All right, Texas, SEC versus SEC. Texas versus Tennessee. Number 1 versus number 5. This is going to be This is not going to. I'm gonna see. Let's see what they got them at. They got Texas at a 8, favored by 8.5. I think it's gonna be closer than that. I like what I've seen out of Tennessee in this tournament. I like their grit. I like their determination. Texas has been doing their thing, obviously making the number 1 seed. At one point in time, they was number 1 in the nation. But I mean, Tennessee, they're number 5 team. I mean, I'm not gonna say they don't. I mean, they got a chance to win. It's gonna be close. I'm gonna pick Texas to win, but I think Tennessee got a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah.
Neither team have any breakout superstars right now, and that's what I love about this matchup. So this is going to be one of them games that a lot of people are not going to be watching more than likely because they don't just know the players on this squad. But it's going to be a good game.
So, EC, do you realize how many SEC schools, women's, are in this deal?
You got Ole Miss, you got LSU, you got OU, you got Carolina. South Carolina, and you got Tennessee,
Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Ole Miss. Yeah, that's crazy. And so this is going to be a classic battle of 2 powerhouse SEC schools.
Absolutely.
So I think it'll be a good game. I think
right, and that's what's going to make this game fun because they said they've played each other throughout the regular season. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for them. Now, this is going to be the most interesting game that I've seen because we don't know what's going to happen. A number 2 versus number 3, but the number 3 is probably favored. Notre Dame versus TCU. My Big 12. It's so hard to root against Big 12 teams right now, but I'm going to.
Then don't do it.
I know it, right? Oh my God. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one right here, man. Notre Dame has got a 5-point favorite on this game, but man, ooh-wee. Handheld doggo. I'm just gonna say this right now. I watched enough of her throughout this tournament. She got a lot of different YouTube clips out there. She's been doing her thing on social media. She got cameras following her around. She's been doing her tours to different schools, going to watch the high school girls play basketball when she got a chance. The fanfare that's behind her, the energy she have, the professionalism that she already shows right now, even in college. She will probably, if she make it to the next level, which she will make it to the next level, she has the potential to be the best point guard we've seen in WNBA at that size, because she her IQ, she knows how to use her teammates well. Where she fell in size, she make up in quickness. He can get separation against anybody. We've seen her do it several times when they switch off against a 6'4", 6'3" guard. She gets separation. If she don't get separation, she's running past you. She's so smart. She used her teammates well. I mean, I have not seen a guard this size do what she does in a long, long time. You know, we've seen smaller guards do their thing. Like Renee Montgomery was good when she played, but she was not a scorer. You know, she was a facilitator, defender when she could against the bigger guards, but we haven't seen nobody this size do it this way, and she's doing the dang thing. So, man, I'm just, yeah, that's what.
So, man, y'all have heard me say this on the show multiple times, that size matters. So before I go any further in that, let's just appreciate Haley Van Lith and Hannah Hidalgo at the same size go at each other.
Right.
And let's see who's better. And I hope TCU goes on to the next level. I hope TCU goes further. But both of them are going to lose in the next round regardless. The Hannah, she is smart and she makes great decisions, and she's a spot up shooter and all that, but it's different when Nafisa's switching off on you or Kelsey's switching off on you and I got 5 inches on you. I can get my hand in your face. Right. So I've said this on the show. I hope I'm wrong, but I do not see the success level translating to the next level where everybody is 4 to 7 inches taller. Right. But I mean, I'm gonna root Horned Frogs. I mean, of course, you know, my wife being a TCU alum, I'm a big fan of Van Lith. But hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it's a good game for sure.
So we put a little perspective on it here. I think, in my humble opinion, that we've seen this Notre Dame team's best. I think we've seen them at their best. I think we're watching this TCU team going in the right direction. They're getting better every game. They're getting more confident. Everybody's getting comfortable with each other. This is going to be a really interesting game and interesting matchup. I like TCU. I'm gonna be that homeboy that is going to favor the Fort Worth people. So yeah.
And the game is in Birmingham, so nobody has a home court advantage. Both schools are about the same distance away. I hope in this next round that this is the best game. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
Were you at EC on this game?
No, I got Notre Dame. I'm straight fanning out over them.
You're not going to support your Big 12 peeps?
I mean, I like I said, J-Dub told me that I didn't have to. He told me early. He said you don't. He didn't know. So.
And again, we got to remember, I'm not a Notre Dame fan. Skylar Diggins was the only reason I've ever been a Notre Dame fan, and Skylar's not playing there right now.
Right.
So I'm good.
That's good. It's good.
No, I like I said, I'm completely just fanning out over Notre Dame right now, man. Hannah Hidalgo, man. Like I say, I've been watching her all season long, and you know that just what she does.
As we all have.
All right, as we all have. We've all been trolling her and watching her all season long, but TCU, I just got on the bandwagon, obviously because they've been doing their thing. They're Fort Worth native, but I just don't know enough about TCU right now. You know, I don't know enough about them to really pull it.
And so Hannah should have another 20-plus point game.
Yeah.
Haley should have another double-double, 15 and 10.
Right.
So, again, of all the games, men or women, this is the one I want to see a slugfest. This is the one I want to see come down to the last shot at the buzzer.
Right,
and somebody make it or miss it.
So, who are the key matchups in this game that you think?
It's Hannah and Haley. Hannah and Haley. They're guarding each other, both point guards. Olivia's going to have her way with whoever tries to guard her. But I think TCU, I've limited viewing of TCU, but I think they win back committee.
Okay.
So as long as TCU can keep Olivia less than 15, less than 20, then the spread out offensive scoring of 8, again, I just want to see a good game.
Yeah,
and we're going to. We're definitely going to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna come down to it. So let's move on to the men's real quick. I got some real quick notes on the men's third round of 32. I'm going to talk about this Creighton and Auburn game. These are just some games that I've kind of watched and looked at and would kind of really was just probably being petty, but critiquing them as much as I can. Creighton and Auburn was a close game. Auburn had 10 points off the bench. 10 points off the bench from Creighton. You know, you can't do that in this tournament. You know, you need more depth than that. And I think that's the reason why Creighton lost that game, against Auburn. But once again, another SEC team. Gonzaga versus Houston. I mean, oh my God. You know, that was a relatively close game than what I expect Houston to do. But LJ Cryer, 30 points. I mean, my God, that kid came to play some basketball right there. That bothers me because, we always talk about Houston being that team that never won it. But the team that for the last couple of years has always shocked us, been number one seed, it didn't always fall short. And when you see games like this, close games, I mean, the Zags ain't no punk. But I think Houston should have brought a little bit more injury in that game. So they got their work cut out for the rest of the season, rest of the attorney. BYU and Wisconsin. That was a close game. BYU led all the way. I know Wisconsin was right there, but I mean, the game was a whole lot. Wasn't as close as it came as it seemed. It wasn't as close as it seemed. It just BYU have this thing as well as Wisconsin when they go in these spells without scoring. So they get them up 12, and then they just sit there. And then Wisconsin get the game to 4 or 5. Then they'll start scoring again. Then they'll get it up to 10. Then they'll stop scoring. Then Wisconsin close. They got the game as close as 5. But it was like 10 points with in the last minute. And then BYU just didn't score no more.
Go, Coach.
If you see my caption there, the bomb squad, BYU is the bomb squad. They're throwing missiles. They're throwing missiles. They got about 7 or 8 guys that just throwing missiles, man, from all over the floor.
Yeah.
They got 7 gymmers on the team. So, but I agree with what you said about they kind of get that lead. They get a little. They kind of relax. If they can't do that,
no,
that's a good team, and that's kind of my dark horse in the men's.
BYU. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I wish Simba was on the squad. Was on this podcast because he talked about Drake. He said Drake, to use your words, he said Drake was his dark horse, and we laughed at him. Not laughed at him. We agree with him for the most part because every man had their own opinion. But then Sunday we asked him, but they lost to Texas Tech out of all people. So
and so I got to see a little bit of that game. I ain't got to see every game. I got some cable issues like ET. I got some issues going on. But they were in the game, and from watching last week's podcast, even though I wasn't on it, Drake was right there for most of the game. I know at the end they ended up losing by 13, 12, 11, somewhere in there. But they were there, and they were tough, and we all like to see a double-digit team going into the Sweet 16. We all enjoy that. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
So based on what he said, I was riding with him, right?
Yeah.
And Texas Tech ended up, there was 2 turnovers late in the game from the highlights on ESPN that changed the momentum. And when you start getting timeouts and long calls and things change. But man, they were a good dark horse to have.
One of y'all tell me about Texas Tech. Somebody give me the cliff notes on Texas Tech.
JT Toppin. That's our guy from Oak Cliff Faith Family. If you don't know Oak Cliff Faith Family, it's a small little school in Oak Cliff. They're a Division III school, but they've won Division III or Division IV, D1, D3, whatever, a division school in Oak Cliff, a small little Christian church that started out small as a charter school, and they just kind of expanded. But man, he's from that school, won 2 state championships there. Now he's over in Texas Tech doing his thing. So we're going to hopefully see him at the next level. Go ahead.
And I'm sorry, EC, just looked it up. man, I'm a big fan of a person who leads the team in scoring and rebounding, and he leads both those categories for his squad. So
absolutely.
I'm a big fan of that. I like that guy. I like that guy. I like the Tim Duncans. I like the Dirk Nowitzki's. I like the Kevin Garnett's, right?
Facts. So there you have it. That's our Texas Tech squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
with all that being said, I'm Woo Pig Suey all day. I'm riding with the team that's fighting for their existence right now. Ooh, go, Coach.
Man, Arkansas beat what can I think of it? Why am I?
They beat St. John's, Rick Pitino versus Calipari.
They beat St. John's, man.
Yeah.
And like Jada said earlier this morning, Coach Cal, man, he was rocking that. He was rocking that plaid, man.
In the jacket, the red gray plaid.
Hey, he was looking fly this weekend, man. Yeah.
Where's Craig Sager? He would have been loving it.
Man, R.I.P. Craig. R.I.P. Craig.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another type with UConn versus Florida. Oh my God, UConn men, bye.
Man, so again with my limited access, I watched that entire game, and I'm not necessarily a UConn fan or a hater, but man, I root for history, and I wanted to see a team maybe win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But what that game showed me is that Florida's got some grit. You know, down 10 with 10 minutes to go, and you end up winning by 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Man, that made me a believer in the Florida Gators. So I think that propelled them to my championship spot. I think they're going to win the championship.
SEC.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, UConn, we get your bigs because y'all got a heavily 6'7", 6'8", 6'10" team over there, but you're not getting the guard play. That's going to be a problem with you guys. You talking about Solo Ball 2 for 9 out of the game. Hassan Diarra 2 for 5. That's not going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Because Florida is heavily guarded, and they got what they got out of the big men. They got rebounds. They got 7 points, both from their big man, and they got rebound. Then they got a guy off the bench with the big man and got 10 points. So they got what they needed out of their big men, but their guards control the game. And that's what you want to see in this type of basketball. And I get big men's, the 6'7" guys could probably be playing guard and forward in the NBA, but we're still playing NCAA basketball. You got to understand the assignment.
It was a McNeely when they started going to that that under 10 minutes left in the game, and you're the one-on-one to get us the lead or get us back in the game. I was like, this is not a good look for y'all. And Florida stepped up their defense, and man, again, Florida showed grit. They showed mental toughness. But me and Coach talked about this earlier today. When you run the gauntlet like the SEC has become, you learn mental toughness because every game is tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it bothered me. Not to say it bothered me, but you know, McNeely, he's from Richardson. He played he went to JJ Pierce, and then he left JJ Pierce, and then he went to Florida. He went to another school in here in the metro. He went to St. Paul John's in Florida. I mean, not Florida, but in Plano. John Paul in Florida. In Plano, and then he left there and went to Florida, and that's how he ended up going to Florida. He ended up leaving and going to a school in Florida. But his family's from Richardson. He lived in Richardson, like I say, from JJ Pierce in the area over there. But what's this? 6 for 16 from the field goal, 2 for 8 from 3-point. That's what D-Wade saying. His man was trying his best to shoot. Mm-hmm. Arizona organization was the game of the weekend. Both teams got some dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah. I didn't have that pulled up. I should have pulled that one up to talk about that Arizona. I totally forgot about that game. But yeah, but I think he's going to be a next level kid. He was a top 5 recruit, so I'm a 5-star recruit going into college. He's just a freshman right now, so we'll see how his game improved. Obviously, when he was in high school, he was only averaging 17 points. Now he's averaging he was averaging 17 points at JJ Pierce, 13 points when he made to Florida, but now he's averaging like 20-some points for this UConn team. So I think he'll be at the next level. I think freshman, give him about another year or two, he'll be ready for the NBA.
Shout out to Z-Man.
The problem with
Caleb Love, baby.
The problem with the Oregon-Arizona game is, if anybody's been watching anything, this championship is Duke's to lose. Because even without Cooper Flagg, they are the best team in the tournament.
1,000%.
Even with him not playing, they are the
some type of way about that.
And I don't hate Duke. I love UNC. I love North Carolina. So, I mean, but Proctor was out of his mind late in the game. So the problem with the Arizona-Oregon game, as great as it was, and I'm 1,000% with you, Z. But we're looking at the next loser. We're looking at the next guy to get rolled over.
What's the other guy? What's the kid's name? Is it Knipple?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If he's playing for anybody else other than Duke, he is a superstar in this league. That guy can ball, man. I'm telling you.
He's a superstar for Duke.
I know what I'm saying. But he gets overshadowed by Cooper is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah,
he is.
He
definitely is. Yeah, I agree. So
I'm looking at Caleb Love. Yeah, he had 5 of 7 threes in that game. In that game with 29 points. Yeah, he was all over the place, man. Mm-hmm. On top of getting in the rebound game, getting 9 rebounds, man, 4 assists. Yeah, he did his thing for his team over there. And then you got Jackson Shelstad for Oregon that had 25 points, and he came. I mean, it was a dogfight between them two, so that was a real good game over there. I just hate that I missed it. I'm sorry, Z-Man, for missing that game.
Z-Man said he is legit. Z-Man, go back to helping the property owner with your HOA stuff. Don't be trying to get in here with us, man. Come on.
Hey, we finally get a buzzer beater. The only buzzer beater that we've seen, other than the one that went in overtime with the
travel.
What's that game? It was a travel. Colorado State versus Maryland. Oh my God, what a way to lose a game! God, Colorado.
That dude, he should have checked his bags at the luggage check, man, before he started traveling.
and I'm even rooting for Maryland. I'm rooting for them, and I'm saying he gathered. Thought about it.
Yeah.
He traveled. He thought about it a minute more, and he took one more step. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
He took one more extra just for good measure, bro. Come on.
Hey, don't we tell the refs to keep the whistle in your pocket at that time?
Yeah.
Man. Yes, we do. We do. And we can't play both sides of the fence on this one. So I would rather them not call that than call that. But when we got super slow-mo nowadays on ESPN, no, he traveled for real. It was bad too. And so something I'm not going to try to speak long on it, but Kyrie Irving, the reason I love him is something called a dribble step, right?
Yeah.
If you're stepping while the ball's hitting the floor,
absolutely.
Right? So his dribble step was off. So he's stepping as the ball's at his chest, so he doesn't get that extra step, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So since his dribble step skill isn't as good as it is on the next level, it was an obvious travel. But if he's hitting the floor with the ball as he's making that first left-hand step with his gather on the next one, then we're not even having this conversation. But we're talking about 2 different levels.
Yeah.
Is when you're in motion like he was coming down and hitting a backboard floater, the refs are looking for upper body contact. They're not even looking at the feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an unfortunate side of reffing. There's so much going on. You got 6 seconds left on the clock. You're watching for illegal screens. You're like, while you're timing the guy out of bounds. And then all of a sudden, once the ball get the moving going in one direction, you're just looking for contact. You're not even looking at the feet. But that's the hard part of the ref. Now, obviously, they get graded during this game. The game is over with. There's no going back. But they're going to have to look at that film. Then those referees probably, won't be on the top board to make the tournament next year to officiate a game. You know what I'm saying? So,
and again, it's so different. It's so different. If the ball is hitting the floor as he takes that first left-hand step, we're not even having this conversation.
Absolutely.
But it didn't happen that way.
Now, we'll say this. They was preparing him for the NBA. We don't call travels in the NBA.
You can take 3 steps and a gather.
You could start your gathering from the 3-point line and it will be a legit score. That's what it is in the NBA.
Right.
Especially if you're Giannis, you get the half court line if you're Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, EC, I want to bring a game up if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to be another monster battle against 2 great SEC schools. I'm telling you something. That Kentucky-Tennessee game is going to be. Don't miss that one either. That one's going to be real good. Mark Pope, who's the head coach of Kentucky, came from BYU, is doing a great job with that bunch. And
so go ahead and talk about it. So what's your prediction in that game?
So, but here's my problem. I am such a big Rick Barnes fan. I'm taking Tennessee. Tennessee hits the last shot of the game to win by 1. That's my prediction.
Okay. Tennessee is favored to win that game. That's what you got, J-Dub?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to root for Kentucky. The only time I rooted for Kentucky was when John Calipari was there. And I love Rick Barnes. So when you figure I'm not going to root for Kentucky and I'm a big Rick Barnes fan, I don't even want it to be that close. I want it to be 10 points going into the final 60 seconds.
So my opinion is this. We talked about the women's having 6 teams represented from SEC. The men has 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't like this. I'm not a fan of SEC unless it's Texas, Oklahoma, and neither one of them is in this games in this turn except for the women's. So I hope these guys beat each other down to where they lose the second round, the next in the Elite 8. So that's what I'm hoping.
To H-Town. That's
exactly.
what I'm saying. I like that one too.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, shout out to Coach Sean Miller, who was at Xavier, who just took the Texas job. He's going to get that program rolling and rocking. I promise you, he's a good coach.
He better.
Yeah,
$5 million.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So BYU and Alabama. I'm a Big 12 fan, and I know this is stupid, but I don't care because I can be wrong. I don't care, but I'm rooting for BYU just because I don't like Alabama, and I'm going with that. They're going to lose this game. BYU is going to lose this game, but somebody got to have hope.
No.
Somebody got to believe in the Cinderella story.
Hey, BYU, I told you BYU's my dark horse. BYU's going to win this game. BYU's going to upset Alabama.
They need to.
See that right there? You see it right there? The bomb squad?
Yeah.
BYU is the bomb squad. They're going to upset Alabama, okay? Facts.
So I haven't got to see BYU at all this season. I haven't got to see them play this tournament, but I like physical teams. And Alabama plays rough.
There you
like
go.
Body people. So with all that being said, I'm all in for Alabama. But the problem is to beat a physical team, you have to be able to shoot from the outside.
Facts.
So man, I hope it's a good game. But I'm on board with Bama, and you'll never hear me say Roll Tide. Roll Tide right now.
All right, let's get to Steve. I can't even keep up with it. Okay, he doesn't root for Duke. He doesn't root for who was Kentucky. He won't say Roll Tide, dude.
Not for football for sure. For basketball, I'll say it.
Right.
Baby.
So J-Dub, you said that you like it when you have 2 men's and women's teams in the conference.
Love it.
We know that Maryland women is going home against South Carolina. So what about the Maryland men against Florida?
Man, I think Florida's going to win. But let me tell you, in 7 days from right now on this next podcast, if both Maryland teams win, I'm all in for Maryland. I promise you. Listen, I just enjoy. Again, I think the last time it happened was UConn. When the UConn ladies were dominating everybody, and maybe Kemba Walker led that run. I think that's the last time a team won both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fan just because I like to see the names of both teams. But I don't think it's gonna happen this year.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Boy, I'm talking about if Maryland win both these games, I'm gonna be sick because it mess my bracket up, but I'll be done.
Yeah.
I'll be done.
Everybody, you ain't alone.
Maryland got invited to a track meet that's fixing to break out. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So.
And if Alabama would have beat Maryland in the women's game, then both Alabama teams would have been there.
Yeah. That's right. It's awesome. I love it.
It's just fun. It's just fun because the reason this is the most anticipated sports venue or whatever we're going to call it, event of the year, is because we don't know. Don't know. And that's what makes this so fun. That's what gets everybody involved. That's why your office pool of brackets or this little bullshit, FairWeather fan conversation is fun because we don't know. We have no clue about what's going to happen in 3 days.
And I was talking to a couple of my buddies this week, and they were going, why do you think blah, blah, blah? I said, because at this level, all you have to have is a couple players, just two guys play out of their mind against the number 1 or number 2 seed that has just a little bit of an off game, and there you have your March Madness.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. So, J-Dub, we know that you obviously I already know what you're going to say because you picked Duke to win the whole thing. So I guess it's going to be for me and Coach. Duke in Arizona. Coach.
I mean,
we know what J-Dub was going with. So
it's Duke, baby.
I don't even know why we're even having this conversation. J-Dub said it best. It's Duke tournament to win or lose. Okay?
Yeah.
They are so much better than everybody else. So that I think I answered your question.
All I'm asking is that with this being a Big 12 team, because that's my, I'm a Big 12, so
there you go.
I am too.
So all I'm asking Big 12, we know you're probably not going to win this game, but at least show them what Big 12 basketball is about and give them something. This better not be no 20, 30-point blowout. Give them something. Fight for your lives.
Y'all see what the margin of victory has been for Duke?
9.5. 9.5 is the margin.
No, I'm saying the margin of their victories the last 10 games have been thick.
Yeah, it's been sick. So, but Big 12, let them know that, it was Big 12 has always been a favorite in this tournament. We've had so many times. We had Kansas win, and, OU was winning it back in the day.
But time out, EC. Arizona is new Big 12.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to root for new Big 12
I know.
because
that's
they're Big 12.
What I'm saying. EC, that's so lame, bro.
And so y'all were talking about margin of victory, and I just had to look it up. Let's look at margin of loss. Duke has lost 3 games. Duke has lost 3 games, and they've all been less than 5 points, 5 or less.
Yeah.
Next thing he's going to say is the Houston Oilers and the Washington Redskins are back. They're back in action.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
When I'm Big 12 to my core.
Yeah,
core, I'm Big 12. But Arizona, to my core, is still Pac-10.
Oh,
and I am anti-Pac-10.
1,000%.
Hey, J-Dub, when you come to the Big 12 tournament, there is a meeting in a dark room to let you know, listen, this is what we are about over here.
Yeah.
Do not let us down. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm not rooting for Miles Simon. I'm not rooting for Mike Bibby. I'm not rooting for Amari Stoudemire back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fun. Okay, let's check out this other Big 12 team. Big 12 in Arkansas. We got Big 12 versus SEC.
SEC stretching, man. Stretching.
So this is one. So Texas Tech, we will win this game. We will beat this SEC team. So this is going to be.
I am not betting against John Calipari. Never.
Big Sig. Yeah. I can't go against my family.
I'm not betting against
the hell, baby.
Yeah.
So who's left on that? That was Thursday. Look at Friday. Oh my God. Here we go.
Y'all are killing me.
We got this game. Michigan State versus Ole Miss. Big 10 against SEC. We know the Big 10 don't necessarily like the SEC, but I'm not a fan of Big 10. I'm a Big 12 guy, but I would love to see a Big 10 win this game, and I think Ole Miss is going home, but this is going to be a dogfight. Any team that's in SEC is going to bring it because we know, they had 13 teams enter in this tourney, and it's 7 of them left. So it goes to show you how strong the SEC is. I joked about us beating the other squad over there, but Arkansas. But man, Big 10 is tough.
That shows you what the NIL
the SEC is
what that
SEC
really
is
shows
tough.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach Chris Beers got those running Rebels rolling right now, so I like Ole Miss.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like anybody from the South more than anybody from the North, so I'm not going to root for Michigan State.
And we need to give a shout out to Coach Izzo.
All-time great.
Yeah, he's
top,
done it.
Top
He's
10, top
totally.
5, probably.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. So good. Yeah.
This will probably be my only SEC pick. I mean, other than some of the obvious ones, right? But this is my SEC pick right here because, like I said, it's hard. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be hard for them to win. We already talked about Kentucky and Tennessee, Michigan and Auburn. Wow, another Big Ten SEC game. Ooh-wee.
Auburn. I like Auburn. Again, Auburn and Alabama are almost the same team this year. They both like to fight. We're gonna claw. We're gonna scratch. We're gonna out rebound you. We're gonna do all the little things. We're gonna get all the trash buckets.
Yeah.
So I'm the only Big Ten school I will root for is Michigan. Only one, and Coach can back me up on this.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
I think Auburn's got it. I think Auburn's got it going away.
Yeah. I love what I'm seeing out of Auburn. Now, I love what I see about Auburn. You say Duke and Auburn. I'm really picking Auburn. Well, actually, Houston is my number one pick overall because that's Big 12. I'm going to go Houston. But in my mind, it's Houston.
Big 12.
Right.
Big 12.
But it's Houston, Auburn, and Duke. Y'all, in football, everybody knows I hate Alabama. Not hate, because hate is such a dark word, but I'm not a fan of Alabama.
We're ready for somebody else.
But in basketball, I am not a fan of Duke. I mean, I know we got some great Duke players in the NBA, but man, I tell you, Duke irks me. They just irks me. I don't know why. They just irks me. But like I said, I'm picking Duke to win. I got Auburn winning this game. And last but not least, we have that Houston versus Purdue game. I think we can all agree that Houston will win this game.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
They're not. They like to win physical too, and they're not the same team without their point guard from last year. But yeah, Houston should win going away.
I got a buddy that I play basketball with. He played for Purdue, and his son played for Purdue, and so I'm just I trash on Purdue any chance I get. So when Houston win this game, I'll be going to beat up on Todd. Todd, if you're watching it, let you know Purdue will lose this game.
So I'm going hard for Houston. But I'm gonna tell you something. I caught Purdue second half of the Purdue game. They're good. They got a good squad. Obviously they're in the Sweet 16. They got a good squad. Right. But I'm rooting for Houston. But I really wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an upset in that game. I hope I'm wrong. So.
If Houston got to make it to the Final Four because Kevin Sampson is that type of coach.
Oh, for sure.
1,000%. If you don't know any of the players of Houston, we gotta love Kevin Sampson and what he's brought to the organization because he's resurrected the organization and made them relevant, hands down. And so going out in the Sweet 16, I don't think that's in his bloodline. I don't think that's in his DNA. This team has to make it to the Final Four. Whether they win the championship or not, it'll mess up my bracket, but at least make it to the Final Four. Yeah,
Coach Sampson's another guy that's one of the greatest at his craft, a college coach. He's won at every level, at every school, and it's really interesting. I really love the fact that this Houston team this year is not as good as the team he had last year, but yet he's got him back in a position to make the Final Four. So that's awesome.
And they're I mean, I don't even know what the word is. They're more wily, they're more scrappy, they're more they got a little chip on their shoulders since they lost last year, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So if I give you an elbow to the mouth and get a flagrant foul, but you can't play the rest of the game, that's an acceptable exchange, and that's what this team looks like right now. Like they're going to hurt you. They're the bad boys in 2025.
Right.
Jada, you and I were having this conversation. I got Houston. If we're playing out on the streets in West End on the asphalt, okay? Houston wins the whole thing, bro. Okay,
right. That's what I'm saying.
He's laughing because he knows exactly what I mean. So
right.
Hey. I tell people the best talent you ever seen are guys who did not graduate high school. I mean, my God, you talking about asphalt and rec centers, man, got the best ball players, man.
Oh, yeah.
Or guys who graduated but didn't quite go to college, didn't want to go to college because too busy doing other things, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
And most of their boys boys are from Texas, Louisiana, or Florida.
Yeah.
And all these states are known for fighting. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I agree with you. If we're on an asphalt, they win hands down. But
on
the hardwood, I still think they win most often.
And y'all, this is the reason why, and I just want to throw this out there for those who are watching, the reason why I critique NBA basketball so hard, and we have the GOAT conversation. When I look at people like LeBron and Jordan, all the guys, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Wilt Chamberlain, I look at them guys and I have to really zero in my thinking to the professional level. Can we start talking about what I've seen with my own eyes? Always.
What just happened? He was going.
I was going, and it was going, and it just before Spectrum trip off, we was doing so good. But what I see with my own eyes, as far as blacktop, y'all, if I took everything I see with my own eyes, Jordan would not be my number one. I'm talking about even my own brother
on the blacktop.
I mean, I'm talking about just because even my own brother, watching him the way he shot the ball, there are a lot of people that get to see my brother shoot the way he shoot. This joker would sit around and play people for money, and he would always hustle them. He will on purpose lose a game, then double it for nothing. Then he'll beat him the first game in a tight game just to make it look like the guy had a chance. And then the third game, after they triple it or nothing, at that game now he's telling people, "You tell me where to shoot from. Wherever you tell me to shoot from, that's where I shoot from." That's how he did the game. And that's how good of a shooter he was,
Wow.
And he got drafted to D3 school because his grades wasn't great. He got a scholarship to a D3 school up in Kansas, McPherson College in Kansas. Shout out to them. And then he ended up going to a practice with Kansas State or Kansas, one of the schools. But at that time, Roy Williams was the coach of that squad. And Roy Williams told him personally, "Come try out for the squad." But his GPA wasn't there to get a scholarship. So that's where he ended up, what I'm saying? But my brother, and like I said, he wasn't the best that I've seen. And I'm just showing how, I've seen some ballers out there that are just great. And we all can go through our memory and see the guys we see on the blacktop. That's the reason why I'm so hard on NBA, because I say that they're getting paid millions to do what others do for free at a high level. Crazy. J-Dub, you hoop. So I know you got something to add to this.
Well, again, the blacktop and the hardcourt are two different places. I found my little niche of success in both. But you can't be a knucklehead and be expected to go to the next level because they don't want to deal with you. Right? Are we gonna sit here saying that J.R. Smith was the best student in the world? But he carved out a 15-year career, right? So there's a lot of those stories. But you got to be able to do it night in, night out, every time it's asked of you. And man, there's ballers on every level. And back to how we started this. All those Houston boys, they're gonna throw punches on you when you post them up. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Coach,
man, it's going to be good. So many good games, both in the men and women's side, that are just going to be nail biters, and they're going to be last second wins, and the madness is going to be at the highest level this weekend. So I just can't wait. I just cannot wait for this weekend. So
all of you out there who got your brackets in order, I know for the women's, I'm at 89% still. The men's, not so much. I think I'm like at 60-some% for the men, because obviously I was probably doing it the wrong way. Room for Big 12 teams. So,
but let's be real quick. Let's be real. Back to the beginning of this conversation. With the women, there were 20 teams to choose from and 64 in the field, right? Yeah. So as long as we're at the Sweet 16, you should have at least got, if you are even a part-time fan of any sport, you should have at least got 12 of them right. At least, at minimum.
And you did, because because all the number 1s, 2s, and 3s are still in it. So there's your 12 teams right there. There's your 12 teams right there.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. And furthermore, for the next round, if you have all the 1s and 2s in the Elite Eight, you're going to be 80% correct. Of the 8 teams, you're going to get 6 of them right for sure.
And that's why we're wrong, because of my Big 12.
This is when we're finna start seeing the separation between a squad that is elite versus a squad that had a good season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lost Texas out of the play-in game, where it was, that round of 68. So
yeah, I know, right?
That's what screwed me up. I like, surely I could win this game, but but they didn't. So from the jump, my bracket was trash. But I didn't have them getting out of that round of 64. But any final words, Coach D-Wade?
Well, we got baseball starting up here in a couple of days, and we've got the March Madness in high gear, and so man, tune in, watch hoop. Before I forget, shout out to our buddy Simba. Hopefully we can catch him. Hopefully we can catch him next Tuesday. So awesome, another awesome time tonight. So all good.
What about you, Jay? The final words?
Brother, my final words are simple, and we've already talked about all 3 of them, I think. Lauren Betts is the truth. Y'all watch her do her work early. Juju Watkins is still going to be a game changer at the next level, at this level. She is still that girl. She is still the best player we've seen in the last 20 years. And Taylor Jones, I want y'all to watch Texas, because even as the second fiddle, she might be a better player than the first fiddle. So just keep watching NCAA. It's March Madness for a reason, and everybody enjoy and keep your brackets up. Yeah. You're not allowed to root for Texas, are you, Mr. Giggum?
I am not. And that's why I'm not rooting for Michigan, because they spoiled my A&M boys.
Yeah, that's right. But A&M lost that game. I'm sorry. Let's go into that real quick. I told you this on a phone call. Man, I've never seen a team get ahead playing a certain way and decide that since we're ahead, we're going to run a 1-4 offense and we're going to lose the game. We're going to lose 16 points in 5 minutes of game time because we quit running the offense that got us to the 10-point lead that we were at.
Who they still want to run for us?
No, I'm saying that Texas A&M was up. They were big. Yeah. They were dominating the game.
Yeah,
they were in charge, and they quit running their off. They were running a little weird pick and roll with a post up. Right. And as soon as they got a lead with like 10 minutes to go, they decided they're going to start running an ISO. And I was like, what is going on right now? Go back to what you were doing. Anyway, gig them, hook them, shoot them up.
A&M was up by 10.
Yeah.
And then I blinked and they were down by 5.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's just how it happened. That's the world of basketball, the game of runs, My final thoughts are right now, breaking news. Jimmy Butler is going against his old squad, Warriors versus Miami Heat. The Heat are up 39-27. So let's see what Jimmy is doing right now as far as his scoring, his ability. Jimmy is he even playing the game? Oh, he has 2 points. Okay.
I think Golden State's the dark horse. Golden State's the
Golden State bench is outscoring all their starters. So right now that's bad. They got 10 points from the starters and 19 points off the bench. So that's pitiful for them. And obviously Bam Adebayo was doing his thing for Miami Heat. So I thought I froze up because y'all both just kind of stood still. I'm like, that
no. I'm processing for a second, dog. I'm processing because I think Golden State is the dark horse for the championship. Yeah. Obviously, they're not a dark horse with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. I get what I just said is complete nonsense. Yeah. But when you're coming in as a 7th seed right now, I don't know what seed they are right now.
Yeah. Steph Curry's not even playing this game.
No, he hasn't played for like a week and a half now. But so I just heard the only people who are really contenders I just heard, and I don't agree with it, were Boston, Milwaukee, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Clippers, and somebody else. And I was like, yeah, I don't agree with that at all. But I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I like the Nuggets. I'm not going to root for LA. LaFlop has turned me off of the NBA right now.
You're killing me.
Anyway.
Oh, man, I love it. Y'all know the Dallas Mavericks, they say, I saw this. I don't know if they changed anything since then, but I know they just brought Anthony Davis back. But at one point in time, there was one injury away for forfeiting games.
7 active players, and you forfeit a game. And they had 8. That's crazy. I almost wore my Dirk jersey tonight, and I was like, nah, I can't root for the Mavericks right now because I do not agree with Nico Harris and anything he's done. I mean, I know we're at the end, but can you imagine trading Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic in a 3-year time frame, and both these guys are leading their teams to the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, Nico, but I'm not a fan. I don't know anything about you, but I don't want you to be the GM of my team.
I mean, they got James Harden back, so he's back, so that gives them something. But Kai Jones, Najee Marshall, Kelsey Edwards, I ain't even heard of this guy. Spencer Dinwiddie and Klay Thompson started that game. Najee Marshall, that guy is a beast, man. He's doing his thing. He's leading the team with 18 points. They're putting it all on him. But you still got your key players out. So Anthony Davis didn't suit up for this game, but they're playing against, like I say, Jalen Brunson. Right now the score is 52-53. So it was they was down a little bit more than that, but the Mavericks went on a little small little mini run. So without the bigs, I love this Maverick squad. I mean, I know we trashed Nico. Let me say this. I wouldn't have done anything Nico done. Let me just call it what it is. I wouldn't have made the moves he made. You know, I wouldn't let Bronson go. I definitely wouldn't let Luka go. But I think this not him being smart. This is just the luck. They was able to get this. And Jason Kidd gets all the credit, not Nico. Jason Kidd has coached these guys because these guys are guys who are just lucky to get into a basketball game. Now, Jason Kidd has built some type of confidence in these guys like Najee Marshall. Can't nobody say that they heard him until he joined the Mavericks. Max Crispy, everybody thought he was Doug Christie's son, and he's not. That's how much irrelevant this guy was. You know what I'm saying? So, but Jason Kidd has gotten a lot. I didn't expect a lot out of Lively. They traded Daniel Gafford for a reason, but Kidd is getting the most out of these players. So, and I didn't like him as a coach, getting him as a coach because I don't like point guard coaches. But once again, Jason Kidd, you have changed my mind. Dude, I know you're not eligible for coach of the year, but God dog, you deserve it.
Man, amen to Jason Kidd. Listen, and I will always root for the Mavericks. I don't care if I agree with the front office decisions or not. They are my squad. They are the only team I can say I will root for through thick and thin. Yeah. But, man, you have 2 top-tier all-stars on your team 3 years ago, and neither one of them are there now. I don't know what I'm supposed to say for you.
And we're not talking about people that you got like Porzingis because somebody threw Porzingis in that. We're talking about guys you went out and purposely got and drafted.
Yeah.
And then you let them go.
Man, I mean, imagine if Brunson. No, you can't have Brunson, Irving, and Luka at the guard at the same time. But man, you had all the talent in the world, and you have traded all away, and now you're battling for a 10th place in the playoff. So I'm for you, and I'm rooting for you. But
hey, Jay, yeah, you can because you talking about if you would have paid Brunson, because Brunson was coming off the bench when he was here.
Yep.
If you would have paid him and convinced him you like 6 guy, you're gonna forever win the 6-man award, just like you did Jason Terry.
Right.
You can have Kyrie and them. You can have them, but this is what they do. This is what they do. Yeah.
It's ever since Mark sold the team. Mark, I'm blaming you.
Mark said he would have never done this decision. He would never made this decision.
Oh, my God, so. Mark, I love you, but I'm blaming you right now.
I know. Man, y'all, that's all our time for today, man. Thank you guys for watching, the guys that are still on, man. Yo, it's been great. It's been wonderful, man. Next Tuesday will be a different story because we'll be in the Final Four situation. So, please, man, before we go, like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation. But until next Tuesday, man, thank you, J-Dub. Thanks, Coach D-Way. Man, we are out.